Hello everybody and welcome back to Odin's Movie Blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope you're doing well. And today I first want to start off by saying please click the bell notification because many people are not getting notified about my videos. I actually did a Cobra Kai video yesterday, and to have 17,000 subscribers and only have 545 views on it just doesn't really compute. Even if people aren't Cobra Kai fans, I just don't think that videos are really, that people are getting notified about the videos. And so if you are subscribed to the channel and you're seeing this because the algorithm tends to like when we're talking about Brie Larson or Captain Marvel or MCU and all those other things, then please think about doing that. But as you can see, Brie Larson wants female Avengers movie, not white dudes. Mr. Matt McGloin over at Cosmic Book News, awesome people at Cosmic Book News, and oh boy, not only does he want that, but also the big news of today, she wants to direct an MCU film. Yes, the woman who gave us the film Unicorn Store on Netflix that everyone loves. Even the critics, even the people that defended her in that terrible movie that we call Captain Marvel, wants to direct an MCU film and wants the MCU not only to go woke, but to go woke very quickly. All I can tell you this is if you decide to take the everything woke narrative and you decide to take it and run with it quickly, it's not going to end well for the MCU. It's not going to end well for you because guess what? If the MCU dies, your career dies as well. Brie Larson is Hollywood's choice for female girl power as she plays Marvel's Carol Danvers, with Captain Marvel appropriately having been released on International Women's Day on 3/8 or 8/3 internationally. So with the Avengers Endgame now released, it's out with the old white dudes and in with the new diversity and PC. And I talked about this in the spoiler reviews for this movie, that they definitely try and do that. They definitely try to take that element, to try and take those narratives and push it even into the Endgame film, which is the reason why, one of the many reasons why, because obviously plot holes and inconsistencies are the bigger reasons why. Don't worry, I'm not going to spoil it in a non-spoiler, unless I'm going to be doing a spoiler videos. I'm never going to actually talk about spoilers in the movie, at least until after this weekend when everyone's had a good chance to go see it, and it's going to make a crap ton of money. I'm actually waiting right now for the box office numbers to officially break, and it was already at $650 million, and that is before other estimates and other numbers came in, meaning that it's very likely going to get at least close to $1 billion in its opening weekend alone, and if it hits the $1 billion mark, oh man, Avatar, look out for your money. But there are a lot of problems with this film, and so as we see, there's an interview from CNET, which thank God Cosmic Book News is covering this because it means I can give them attention and not CNET. So it says, the subject of intersectional feminism is brought up with Larson. Of course it is. And asks which characters in the MCU would she like to see get movies. I would love to see Valkyrie solo movie for sure. You're talking to a dude that loves Valkyrie, that loves the character that, the characterization really of Valkyrie that they brought into the MCU. I am a Tessa Thompson fan. Not everyone likes Tessa Thompson. Not everyone is on board with that. I am. I think that she's got great chemistry on screen, especially with Thor. And to be honest, in Thor 4, if they make it a team-up film with those two, as long as they don't try and dumb down Thor like they did for Endgame, and also like what they did in a lot of ways for Thor Ragnarok, though I'm okay with Thor Ragnarok's dumbing down to a point because it's not like they're dumbing him down completely all the time. It's just that certain things happen in comedy, etc. I think that it's done tastefully and it's done with a balance, but of course not everyone agrees with me there either. I mean, they haven't begun to tap into her abilities. I mean, I'd love to see Miss Marvel movie, man, for sure, she says. Oh yes, we love to see Valkyrie, we love to see Miss Marvel, and I love her story so much. It would be my hope she comes in sooner rather than later as Carol's sidekick, and then eventually kind of takes over. And then of course the Wakanda ladies, I could watch a whole movie of those warrior women. There's so much to be mined from that. So I think there's a lot of material out there and a lot of new worlds to delve into. You see, the focus here of course is on the women though. It's not about let's tell great stories, let's tell compelling stories, let's tell intricate stories. No, let's focus on the women. Let's focus on all the women, and I'll be in charge of it all, and I'll be at the fore, but eventually, my sidekick can take over. But note that this is not the Miss Marvel from the comics. This is not the traditional Miss Marvel. This is the newer version of Miss Marvel, which is played by a Muslim woman. Now everyone's gonna be like, oh, now you're you're anti-Muslim now too? No, not at all. It's just that, let's be honest, why do they create that character? To fit in a certain political narrative, not to tell a good story. See, there are certain times when they are doing things for a political narrative, but tell a good story. For example, Miles Morales. Most people are going to look at that and say, okay, yeah, they're obviously trying to do something with Spider-Man there, but guess what? The story was well written, which is why many people accept Miles Morales as a valid Spider-Man, which is why I personally like Spider-Verse. Other than the animation, which at times was a little cringe because of the, random stop jerkiness of it, overall was a really good story, and I really like the character of Miles Morales, and they give him a good character arc. They give him a good character, and also the whole Spider-Verse concept is very interesting. This, though, as you can see, is them trying to force certain things, but not really focus on good storytelling. Great example of that, Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel was done for political purposes, and it had a political message to it, and guess what? It wasn't done well, and that's why it overall sucked. Brie Larson is also asked if she would be interested in directing a Marvel movie, which she replies, totally. She is then questioned if she ever appeared in a buddy movie with Thor and Hulk, which character would she want to team up with, but Larson avoids the questioning and instead replies she wants a female Avengers film. So yes, she's given the opportunity to say, who would you rather team up with, Thor or Hulk? The two strongest characters, not just male characters, the two strongest characters in the MCU, and she's not even going to answer that question and is instead going to go for the the A-team, the Avengers. I'm really getting into the idea of an all-female Avengers movie. Getting all the women together and getting them to work as a team would be so powerful and iconic. Just because having just seen Avengers Endgame, getting to see all those characters on screen, you realize the beauty of these new superhero movies is that everyone has their own special skills they bring to the table, their own, superpower, and to see women work together and in that way as a team is not something we've seen enough on screen. That's because every time it's been attempted in recent society, it has been done terribly. It has been done awful. Great example, Ghostbusters 2016. That movie sucked. And it wasn't just because you had an all-female cast. It was because the story sucked. The characters did not work. There was no reason for the story. You see, here's the problem with an all-female Avengers movie, and especially if it's going to be directed by someone like her. Because, good God, the last thing the MCU needs is her, not just in it, but also to be the one who's directing it. So not only does she just say, oh, no, white men? Psh, why would I want to hang out with white men? Thor and Hulk? Oh, why would I want to do a movie with them? I want to do an all-female Avengers film because that's what everyone wants, right? Are there people out there that want one? Sure. Do I have a problem with it? Not necessarily if they do it right, if they tell a good story, if they actually make me want to see it. But at this point in time, seeing that the only real evidence or the only real story I have is what they gave me in Endgame in that super woke moment, and this is not a spoiler because this is something that everyone's talking about, and it's really not saying much, but when you have all the female characters on the battlefield at the same time, and somehow, some way, every single person that has a certain appendage, somehow, some way, people with all the same chromosomes, somehow, some way, end up on the battlefield in the same place at the same time, and we say, she's not alone. It's the most cringeworthy scene. It's pandering, and it's awful. And there are idiots in my theater that were like, yeah, this is what we want. And to them I say, no. Because if they go in that direction, it's going to be bad. It's going to be woke, and that is not a good reason to tell a story. If you're telling a story just to be political, then you shouldn't tell that story. And if you're going to tell that story, okay, make a documentary. Make something that's actually going to fit that narrative. But an MCU film? No, an MCU film should be for everyone. And that's the biggest problem with people like Brie Larson is that she does not want things for everyone. She just wants things for certain people and certain groups. Because in her and many other people in the SJW, Hollywood mindset is that, oh, well, everyone else has had such little representation. Now we need to make up for it. No, that's just as bad. What you need to do is instead just tell great stories, and it doesn't matter who is in what cast. You want to see a great example of that? Thor. If you were going to be historically and comically accurate, guess what you would do? You would have every single character on screen be white. But what do? They cast Idris frickin' Elba, one of the most badass actors ever, as Heimdall, and now I personally can't see any other person playing Heimdall. They cast Tessa Thompson as one of the Valkyrie, and you know what? As one of the Valkyrie, she works. The chemistry works with her. And I know that a lot of people don't like that and don't agree with that, but guess what? It works. Because in my mind, they weren't just trying to, hire diversity hires. They were trying to pick awesome people, especially Idris Elba. Some people might be able to make an argument for Tessa Thompson, but Idris Elba, come on. Tell me that there is not a more iconic actor that could play Heimdall, at least the way that he does. I mean, this is the dude that I personally would like to see play James Bond. Oh, now you're just virtue signaling. No, seriously, I love the guy. I think he's a terrific actor. I don't care what his politics are because when he's on screen, he is a badass and he can pull it off. But seriously, if this is the direction they're going to go, it's not going to end up well. Brie Larson has also recently said Captain Marvel is stronger than ever, got a bit nasty with Chris Hemsworth while promoting Endgame, shut down the makeup trolls, bullied a fan over Unicorn Store, and has admitted she hates some of the cast in her movies. Yes, indeed. That is Brie Larson. That is the future of the MCU. That is the person that they want to run the future of the MCU. They want her to be the center. They want her to be the next Robert Downey Jr. of the MCU. And guess what? She's not that. She doesn't have the charisma for it, and most importantly, she doesn't have the likability factor. too many people, not just behind the scenes among her cast, but too many fans don't like her. Even if you liked Endgame, even if you liked Captain Marvel, I think you could at least say, if you've seen her in interviews, you're like, oh God, yeah, she is not a very kind person. She is not a very good person. Oh, I don't want to team up with a white dude. No. All females all the way. Oh no, what we need is women, and we need it now and fast. We need phase 4 to be phase woke. We need every single movie in the next phase to be female run, female led, female empowerment. There's nothing wrong with a female-led film or a female group film. The problem is that the why behind it, the motivation behind it, that can easily impact whether a film is good or not, because if you make a film just to go woke, you're gonna go broke. Guys, what are y'all's thoughts about this? Seriously, do you want to see Carol Danvers? Do you want to see Brie Larson herself direct an MCU film? To be honest, let me be perfectly honest. I want MCU, I hope you're listening. What I want you to do is I want you to make an all-female Avengers film, and I want you to let Brie Larson direct it. And I want you to see how much that movie fails. That is a guaranteed failure. She obviously is not a well-crafted director. Go ahead and look at Unicorn Store. It's doing terribly. I have not seen it myself because I don't even want to give it, likes, or I don't want to even give it any view time. So I'm trying to find ways to do that. That's not exactly illegal. But with all that being said, we honestly are daring you at this point. Me and I guarantee you, a lot of people in my comments dare you cast her as the lead in an Avengers, all-female Avengers film, and also let her be the director. Hey, you know what? Hell, let her be the writer. You know what? In fact, you're going to go out of your way and say, we're going to have an all-female crew. Do it. I dare you. And it's not going to be bad because women are involved. It's going to be bad because you care more about your wokeness than you do about making a good product. And if you had actually cared about making a good product, Endgame wouldn't have sucked. And I know I'm still getting a lot of hate for that, but hey, at least I'm being honest. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like the video, smash the like button, give me a subscribe. You're all amazing people. Go check my video out on the Geeks and Gamers channel. Should be live a little bit later today. Still waiting for those box office numbers to come in. Have not checked since the video started, so they very well could be up to date, and I cannot wait to talk about that with you guys. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless.